There was a barren land, rich with water. There was an Atlantic Ocean, like a Sahara desert. There was a desert in the depth of a sea. There was an ocean in the lap of a leaf. There was a story curtained in a story. There was a story packed in glory. There was a silent knock, a knock at the knocking door. There was a grinning silence, a silence on the yelling floor. There was a stream of bright stars during sunlight. There were moisture lands during white sky. There was a silent moon during the glossy dark. There was a dancing flower during fluctuating star. There was a thirsty ocean, an ocean hankering in the sea. There was breathing ash, ash inclined to flee. There was lifeless life, lingering for life. There was staggering darkness, and darkness staggering for light. There was a green stone during the autumn season. There were dying hopes without any reason. There were unseen wishes dying for the visible hopes. There was a blind universe crawling blindly on the invisible ropes. There were blank dreams during the rainy season. There were dying hopes without any reason. There was gleam hidden behind the blackness. There was a lurching yell hidden behind quietness. There was a storm of memories whistling through the modes. There was a conscienceless shadow crawling silently on the roads. There was a strange reality, a truth rich with the fragrance of life. There was death present in the prison of life. There was a stream of wishes flowing on the desirous land. There was a tiny drop of water drinking dryness on the land of sand. There was shivering cruelty, violence afraid of peace. There was a bravest flame, brawling cowardly with the cool breeze. There was a galaxy of stars during the dark night. There were shooting stars spreading dramatic light. There was a dying star donating its light. There was a black hole absorbing every light. There was a glossy lie, a lie rich with the lie. There was a restless truth, and a truth losing its light. There were white angels and inconspicuous spokes. There were white angels present in moors. There was a dark night, but inconspicuous dark. There was sheeny shine, but an inconspicuous spark. There was a dead garden, rich with aroma. There was an aromatic fountain, sprinkling sorrows with aurora. There was loneliness, a sense of sadness, in a fish out of the water-like condition. There was a breathing breath, and a breath traveling towards a sad destination. There was weeping sincerity, a truth crying in the garbage of words. There was a liar stream, a river flowing gallantly in the streams of the world. There was an emotional friendship, a unity between false and true. There was an exquisite universe, but I was living in a social zoo. There was felicity, happiness singing a sad song. There was a monarch of slaves named Sajawal, having dinner with right and wrong. There was a criminal, a sinner murdered by a pious man. There was just a suggestion, an opinion, but the decision was pre-planned. There was a monarch, a king, prisoned in the prison of a slave. There was a dry cascade of crystals, a fountain enclosed in the blinking caves. There was an alien feel, a terror known to me. There was an island, and an island was flaming in the lap of a sea. There were hot winds loaded with moistures. There was a unique cosmos where were valueless crystals. There were breathing roses buried in the graveyard. There were hopeless butterflies at the garden of lifeless flowers. There was a world of words, a world ending in smoke. There was a greedy cell, a cooler, and a room without a clock. There was life, fat with life less life. There was death, rich with endless life. There was ugliness, fat with beauty. There was a blasting universe, a glowworm losing its pretty. There was a complex mixture of happy and sad tears. There was life less life, and an alive patience to bear. There was an exam of Adam, but failure of Satan. There were unlimited seasons hidden behind the atom. There was a blessed house, a residence without a roof. There were many eras of wars, a war without proof. There was an iron boat, flying without wings. There were transferring opinions between autumn and spring. There was a desert in the rain of tears. There was coward courage removing the life's fear. There was a strange reality celebrating the imaginations. There were depressed foes relishing the frustrations. There was an open invitation about the merit of dust. There was tired river requesting for rest. There was an empty place, a space without a hole. There were busy purposes and a life without goal. There was a dead body ready to survive. There was a thirsty dust ready to die. There was a tired kite trying to fly. There was a successful loser trying to try. There was a person sharing his regrets. There were poor people selling their breaths. There was a restless stream. Perhaps steam was freeze. There was a complete dress, a costume without sleeves. There was a purposeless motto, a slogan for special purpose. There was an alone audience watching its own circles. There were hopeless eyes waiting for hope. There were colorful skies hanging without ropes. There were torturing frames, the frames without photo. There were rare strikes, the strikes without motto. There was an unknown profession, rich with passion. There was simplicity, wandering for fashion. There was an old television, keenly observing us. There were dynamic cultures in flux. There was scattering fire, hugging the America and Afghan. There was 14th of August and an open invitation at Minare, Pakistan. There was light buried in the blinking cave. There was no oxygen, but our lives were entirely safe. There were some old folks saying, "Old is gold." There was a new generation continuously addressing, "Gold can never be old." There was nothing less famous for everything. There was an empty treasure, rich with blessings. There were good habits, the habits to forget. There were new truths, the facts to reject. There was tomorrow, behaving like today. There was today, borrowed by tomorrow. There were some new travelers stopping their train. There was hungry thirst waiting for rain. There was a future machine named as brain. There was a liar man facing the truth he has to blame. There were many replies and answers without questions. There was an Islamic state famous for its corruption. There was an unknown cruelty swallowed by peace. There was an unknown cruelty once vomited by peace. There were some laughing jokers relishing the pain. There was first breath missing its train. There was life tired by breath. There was a risk-taking game named as trust. There was a doctor treating backbones. There was a tree famous for its shadow while eating black stones. There was an open door closed for everyone. There was no light during the shining sun. There was positivity in the dustbin of wrappers. There was nothingness written on papers. There were some covered birds gone with the wind. There was autumn's offer, a letter for spring. There were people crying without feelings. There were honest shopkeepers, unfair in their dealings. There was an announcement, a voice for grand race. There was paralyzed community, but everyone participates. There were blind folks, but everyone sees the words. There was an authentic truth, lie in its own words. There was communication, creating communication gap. There were invisible galaxies, visible in the ice map. There were rustling leaves during musical game. There was a rushing universe, a cosmos without a name. There was a pious prisoner sitting in an open cage. There were countless stories, a book without page. There was an honesty test, and the situation was dishonest. There were some virtual patients dying in the sincere context. There were some gamblers saving the nation. There was trained democracy changing its foundation. There were some unknown people struggling for others. There were famous customs murdering the mothers. There were new residences, the houses without janitors. There were old homes carrying someone's ancestors. There were wealthy people begging for health. There were healthy folks praying for wealth. There were talking fruits willing for migration. There were vocalizing trees losing the situation. There was cemented friendship, frankness between ignorance and teachers. There was an abstract institution segmented by preachers. There were irritated breaths, tired by life. There were ignorant folks, knowing the reasons to survive. There were rejected souls, wearing an eye-catching dress. There were soul-sucking efforts behind the success. There were some knowledge gainers delivering ignorance. There was a market of perfumes, the shops without fragrance. There was death before life and life after death. There was fraud before knowledge and result after test. There was spark before fire and fire after spark. There was peace for revolution and regrets after wars. There was a hot day, the day without sun. There was moonless night and a night without stars. There were extra hard workers eating halal bribe. There was a race for freedom, the race among Muslims tribe. There were some natural disasters distributing warning. There was a crowd of blocked rays creating global warming. There were dull questions and answers without factuous. There were recorded sounds. Perhaps everything was vacuous. There was blood, washing the blood. There were land maps raised by flood. There was an aggressive war, a fight for peace. There were simple crimes complicated by police. There was pretty calmness during the polite violence. There were seizing efforts, but silence can break the silence. There were prosperous words, but no place for a single man. There were sincere smells, mothers frying hearts in the frying pan. There were polite talks showing black crows. There was a complete man without senses, no eyes, and without eyebrows. There was a speech community unable to speak. There was a new civilization having an immeasurable beak. There was a dry ocean measuring its depth. There was death after life and life after death. There was a tied knot, untied by the rope. There was a traveling destination, suffering against hope. There were wise decisions behind the innocent vision. There were growing seeds without supervision. There was sunlight relishing the rainy season. There was a solid reason behind every reason. There was right path moving opposite side. There was diving sun, no hope to rise. There were beneficial inventions inviting natural cries. There were decorated tears when someone dies. There were receiving summons without any proof. There was a complete residence, a house without a roof. There was a war, a battle between ice and fire. There were prominent guests, and the entire world was hired. There was a new compass showing no location. There were starry nights and a planet without a rotation. There were many researches and investigations for reality. There were priceless values losing their morality. There were crowded libraries and books without title. There were numerous stories searching for the writer. There were countless obstacles and barriers breaking the speed. There was unbelievable law and order, but believable thieves. There was a colorless chart absorbing every glow. There was a man of fancy secrets unwilling to show. There was a working discussion about the theory of evolution. There was a successful disobedience known as revolution. There was a delightful frame, a frame without a picture. There were blind eyes famous for the fascinating sculptures. There were dusted rooms decorated by violins. There were recorded regrets during the teasing silence. There were new worlds discovered by inventions. There were social diseases caused by preventions. There was injustice selected by the nation. There was doomsday wearing the mask of fashion. There was mismanagement during the management of time. There was wastage of time during the division of time. There was protest, a competition between poor and the richest. There was just a spark, enough for eating the forest. There was fear, sporting the dew. There was shrinking patience. Well, why should we care? There were some educational institution distributing ignorance. There was a nursery of jasmine, a garden without fragrance. There were some scientific laboratories sucking the artists. There were some poets working in laboratories. There was childhood playing with marbles. There was childhood passing through the bangles. There was democracy voting the bureaucrats. There was bureaucracy famous for democratic trade. There were some bright students getting poor grades. There were poor learners achieving first place.